Thank you, Michael. Wonderful. Aloha. Welcome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're so excited to have you here today with us. Welcome to this evening's special town hall gathering here at the Maui Ocean Center. My name is Jessica. Some of you folks know me, some are new faces. My name is Jessica Kola. I'm the Education Director here at the Maui Ocean Center. And this evening, I will be acting as your Master of Ceremonies. I have the pleasure of introducing many wonderful people tonight. I am both humbled and honored to share the room with so many inspirational and insightful individuals across different sectors of Maui's visitor industry. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks to the many individuals and organizations who have shown up this evening. A thank you to Hawaii Tourism Association, the Hawaii Visitors Conventions Bureau, the Maui Visitors Bureau, the Maui Chamber of Commerce, the County of Maui, the Hotel and Lodging Association of Hawaii, the Hawaii Attractions Association, and all of our most treasured travel industry partners for attending this evening. In a time where we are overwhelmed and emotional, I'd like to thank everyone for showing aloha this evening. Mahalo from refraining from negativity, and please withhold from inquiries that are not solution-oriented. We are trying to move forward with our solutions this afternoon. 2 weeks ago, our island was devastated by a disaster that impacted our community to its core. The experience for some is unimaginable, and in many ways, Maui will never be the same. During such immense hardship, however, we have seen the incredible resilience of this community. Over the last 2 weeks, Maui has jumped into action to malama our friends, family, neighbors, and even our strangers. Our goal this evening is to do the same. Maui travel industry will come together to coalesce a common message surrounding the importance of our visitors to our livelihoods. We are ready to welcome respectful and considerate visitors to support our economy and create a financially resilient Maui. Before we get started, I'd like to take a few moments to review this evening's programs and some of our housekeeping details. First of all, the program will go from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. We have several speakers this evening, so I kindly request that all comments and questions be held to the end of the program. Also, please take a moment to silence or turn off of your phones and be present with aloha this evening. The question and answers, as you guys know, this was an invitation town hall event. So during, when you got your first invitation, there should have been a follow-up with a question and answer questionnaire platform. So at the conclusion of the formal presentation, we will facilitate a solution-oriented discussion based on the prepared questions submitted via the visitor industry questionnaire, which was emailed to all of the attendees. If you didn't have an opportunity to submit your questions prior to the session, don't worry, please scan the QR codes to ask your question through the form. We will have those QR codes passed around, and they will be available after this event as well. The industry leaders will be able to access, read, and respond to the questions both during this event and afterwards. As inquiries are addressed with their respective respondents, I'd like to thank everyone again for showing aloha and refraining from negativity that are not solution-focused. On a more detail-oriented, the location of the restrooms, if anybody should need to leave the room. Lastly, if anybody needs to leave the theater, there are exits located at the base of the stairs on either location. If you are seeking a restroom, my recommendation would be to go to this area right over here. This walkway will exit right in front of the outdoor restrooms, and the door is open so you can come back in. For those of you folks that might be watching this live streamed from our overflow location in open ocean, find a marine naturalist or a Maui Ocean Center staff member. They are located in those locations, and they will be able to assist you with finding your nearest exit. Without further ado, we will begin tonight's proceedings with a moment of silence. Thank you. Wonderful. I would like to ask if Kalei is in the audience. Do we have Kalei? Maybe she is not with us today. Oh, there we are. So what we're going to be doing next is we're going to have a pule that's going to be offered by Kalei Ue Okolani, and she's going to be doing a pule for us, and then we'll move into our opening remarks. Thank you, Kalei.
Aloha mai kako. Pilina mai me ke aloha o wau no kale o pua o na lani ue ko alani. Noha o ma hama kua poko me ka ua lilinoi. O mauna a hele akala ko umauna. Ko mohana. Rather than a pule, if you know, I would love to start na o makua. If you know na o makua, we are going to do Maui nui a kama to fill it in. E o maka kako. Present on our property. Aloha is a form of an exchanged emotion.
Thank you, Kalei. Wonderful. Before I continue, just for my speakers, I was gently reminded that for our live streamers, make sure that we use the microphone. I appreciate you, Clay. I didn't advise you of that ahead of time. But for those of my speakers going forward, let's make sure we use the microphone so those in our overflow and watching from home are able to hear as well. I'd like to introduce Tapani Viori, the General Manager of the Maui Ocean Center, who will share some opening remarks.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for all of you being here tonight. Really appreciate it. I will speak from my heart. I did not prepare any notes. This is, needless to say, very emotional for a lot of us. We all know people who have lost family members. We have one person here at the Maui Ocean Center. They lost 4 family members in Lahaina. Their house burned down. My neighbor, he lost his home, they lost a family member, and they lost their business in Lahaina. This is happening all around Maui. It's touching all of us, all of our families. This event, so that everyone understands, we wanted to put this together because we see what's happening on the ground. Our friends, our colleagues, our fellow businesses, they are closing down. Let me be real clear, you know, the lives lost and still recovered, that is of course a priority, but at the same time, we as a community, we need to start really thinking about how we recover from this disaster that we were clearly not prepared in any shape or form. Unfortunately, there was a lot of miscommunication starting from the 8th. This is now day 15. I lost count. And just the other day, I had a family here living in their tent on the parking lot because they could not get even temporary housing. So we as a community have failed in so many different ways. So we need to do better. We are all in this together, whether we like it or not. And we did, like Jessica said, this is about not pointing fingers, not casting blame. We don't have time for that right now. It's all hands on deck moment for all of us. And it personally pains me when I see the disrespect that our elected leaders and our authorities are getting, and we need to stand in unison behind our leaders and let them do their job and do whatever we can to help them accomplish this. After we recover, we can start having these conversations, I believe. Governor Green has made that commitment very clear, and I believe Mayor Bisson has also committed to this. So we have an opportunity to start looking at what do we learn from this? What can we do better? What is our community going to look like as we go forward? I personally see a lot of anger out there. I understand, and I respect that. To me, it is indicative of 100+ years of pain and issues that we have not addressed as a community. We have failed to address issues of land use, water rights, land disposition, sustainable tourism among them. I'm the first one to tell all of us here that 2019, we had too many tourists here. And I run the #1 tourist attraction here in Maui. And we as a community need to look forward into the future for the younger generations. It's not about us anymore. How are we going to leave this place for the future generations? We need to have our indigenous voices at the table in the room, deciding how this future looks like. For this meeting, our goal, so that everyone is clear, we really want to make sure that out of here, everybody comes out of this meeting with a uniform, singular, compelling and strong message that we as a community can put out there We all see what's happening on social media, and I don't need to name any names. This is not about that. But and we see things pivoting a little bit right now. But earlier, people were saying, "Do not come to Maui," and this is now causing real damage. And what I have spoken to some of you here, many of you actually, is what does tourism? What should it be like? Right now, I believe, I would argue, and we welcome any opinions here, Maui should be open for respectful, caring, compassionate tourism. Lahaina is out of bounds. Nobody should be going there. There's no reason for anyone unless you're authorized to go there. I would also argue further, I looked at Mayor's sixth proclamation, emergency proclamation last night. I could not sleep. Kanapali, Napili, Kapalua. We should really do everything in our power to try to reopen that area. There's a lot of money in that area, providing it's safe. I understand we have water, we have electricity. I've been involved in discussions with Starlink, getting network there. I saw FEMA trailers going out with generators last week. So things are coming together. This is too big of an area to close out until October 17th. Anyway, I can't urge all of us enough to really look at how we can work together and create that compelling, singular, uniform message and stand behind our leaders. This is a time, if any. Failure is not an option, as much as it's cliche, but this is all hands on deck moment. So anyway, there's a lot more, but we have many speakers here, so I want to make sure that everybody gets a voice. So I'll, again, sincerely thank you for being here, and I'm always available in my office. You know where I am. You can come and talk the story anytime. So thank you again for being here. Hello.
Thank you, Tapani. All right, next up, I'd like to introduce Maui County's representative with the Red Cross in the county. I was told that Mahina would like to speak on behalf. Is Mahina in the room today? There we go. Thank you, Mahina. We'll be speaking on matters of status of access to West Maui, the timing of evacuee shelters and hotels, and the anticipated timing of reopening. Thank you.
Mahalo and aloha. We were invited today to a meeting. This is the biggest meeting I've had all week, but I'm very grateful to be here. And I send regards from Mayor Bisson, who is actually in the Kula area today and addressing some great needs there in that district that need attention as well. You're no stranger to the difficulties that our community is facing, particularly in the area of West Maui. I know that there are specific questions that we are, hopeful to get answers to. Very particularly interested in hearing what your facilitated discussion will bring forward. It is industry information and industry mana'o and industry guidance that will help us sort through this. We were in the early days of the crisis, public safety, working with families in distress, and working still, and we continue today, in day 15, to find the missing loved ones, the unaccounted for, from our communities and the families, whether they're from West Maui, anywhere else on the island, or visitors who came here. So we are still in that mode, and it is a critical, critical stage for us. In the meantime, we were able to have the roads open to Lahaina, to West Maui. We were also able, and very grateful, for utilities to work as quickly as they could, whether it be power, cell towers, anything that they can bring. Being in an island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean brings with it some very, very unique conditions. So as far as, I think there were specific questions, opening of visitor industry, I have to say, the mayor has consistently said that Maui is open for business. We ask, just as you just heard, that people be respectful of what's going on in Lahaina town, and that there is a impact zone where an active search is continuing. Mayor has also been very consistent in saying, we welcome visitors back. I think it's measured against the disaster coverage that's out there and the mindfulness that we do want. We do want people's aloha and understanding how difficult the situation is for our people. So balancing all of that is where we are today. I cannot say we have a clear path forward, and I cannot say it's spelled out very, very in a bright way. I can say that every day from before the sun is up until evening, our teams have been working tirelessly throughout each and every day to first address the needs of the families in Lahaina. Once we are able to address that, and better at the days that follow the impact, we are beginning to work with the different sectors that are also impacted. And one of the most beautiful things that we saw was that the private sector, including all of you, actually came out to the front line. And the way we saw you, your employees, and your neighbors, and your leadership, and your executives from across the channels and the world say, we are here to do whatever we can. So today, we're at the stage where we now get in the middle and connect what the industry has done, where we need to go, and how we're gonna get there. So today's really important, and mahalo for putting this together. We could not do it if this was not called for. And I know, I get it that it was last minute. We all came running here and tried to make it happen, but this is how urgent it is, right? We all stop our calendars and get here. I did bring FEMA, and they actually brought themselves, but I'm gonna pretend I brought them. But we have, I'm sure you've seen the media, we have well over 1,000 federal agencies. We have numerous state agencies and county. We are pulling every support possible and trying to integrate that in, at the same time being culturally sensitive, very mindful, and very locally driven. So all of that balancing act. But here today, if you indulge me, we have from the Small Business Administration of U.S. at the federal level, Yolanda Stokes, who I would like to welcome because they are also active. We've been on calls with them on what can they do further for our community, including on the commerce side. So Yolanda.
Mahalo. Mahalo, everyone, and thank you so much. I know, like you said, we pulled this together at the last minute, and thank you so much for including the Small Business Administration in this very, very important meeting to share information about our programs. The Small Business Administration, as you all know, are here for our businesses, and we want to make sure that in this devastating disaster, there will be many folks who were impacted not only through their business, but through their homes as well. And so we want to make sure that you're aware that we do have programs that do cover homeowners, renters, our private nonprofits, and of course our businesses of all sizes. The Small Business Administration, of course, we need to make these loans attractive, right, to our business community, because many of you have already gone through the COVID pandemic, and many of you may already have existing COVID EIDL disaster loans. And so we wanted to share the information that this is a totally new disaster. So if you do already have an existing COVID EIDL loan, you're still eligible for the wildfire disaster. The SBA is very, very mindful of the fact that we do have many businesses in tourism and throughout that were not necessarily impacted by physical damage, but the economic loss has already been seen in short of 15 days. The SBA can provide for business owners for physical damage as well as economic injury up to $2 million with interest rates as low as 4%, some terms up to 30 years, of course, depending upon what you need. We know that not all of our businesses will need $2 million. So I'm just encouraging everyone to reach out to SBA to go ahead and apply for that loan. We know many people are already thinking about the possibility of having to close their doors. That's devastating to think about at this time. We need a resilient community, and we need that like yesterday. So again, up to $2 million for my business owners and private nonprofits, 4% interest rate, terms of 30 years. If you somehow don't need the loan, you can simply cancel the loan. A lot of flexibility built into the programs. The SBA has a recovery center, as you all know. We're co-located with our FEMA partners at the University of Hawaii Maui campus. We also have a business recovery center set up at the Maui Research and Technology Center. The hours of operation at the Maui Technology and Research Center, we're open from Monday through Friday. We're there from 8 to 5. We also have we also have a Saturday location, or Saturday hours from 10 till 2. So that center at Maui Technology Research Center is set up specifically for our business owners. We know that you're trying to keep the doors open, you're trying to keep salaries paid, and you're trying to prevent laying off your employees, right? So we have those specific hours set up at the Business Recovery Center. If you absolutely cannot make it to any of the in-person centers, which is ideal, we want to provide that face-to-face assistance. You can also apply online at sba.gov. Simply click on the disaster assistance link and move forward with your electronic applications. And if you have any questions whatsoever, if maybe you've already applied and you want to know the status of your loan or just simply have some additional questions, certainly call our 800 number, 1-800-659-2955. And that's just kind of in a nutshell, on the SBA program. I just wanted to share that information again. Thank you so much for allowing me this time to share that vital information.
Thank you, Yolanda. So we will be here to listen to your discussion and take your guidance as well. And I mahalo all of you, truly. We're in a historic time, and we're all part of it. Every part of us and every part of our community is holding strong. And so I just wanted to assure you of that. But we are going to be here. I'm going to turn this over because she's standing right next to me. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Up next, I'd like to bring your attention to Zoom, which hopefully we can get up here on the screen for everybody to see. We're going to be operating Zoom with Marcus. We'll give him a couple of moments because, as everybody knows, this did come together. Wonderful. Alrighty, is everybody able to see on Zoom? Wonderful. Okay. So I'd like to bring your attention to the Zoom screen up above where we have Mufi Hanneman from the Hawaii Hotel and Lodging Association. Mufi, can you hear us? We're having a hard time hearing you.
We're working on the audio. Just be a moment. I apologize.
We'll give ourselves just a couple of seconds. I don't know about you guys, but I also am not too great with technology, so I can relate. We'll see if we can get the audio up.
Go ahead and try now.
Mufi, would you like to say a couple words and see if we can hear you? Yeah, he doesn't hear us.
I think we're in now. Spider Trend.
Okay. What? You can hear me now?
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Mike Kako, everyone. I want to thank Tapani and Mike for this invitation to join you today. The fact that so many of you have taken time out from your busy schedule, you've flown in from other parts of the state, is a wonderful recognition of how important the subject matter is today. So I want to begin by thanking all of you. One of the things that we're seeing every day is the spirit of aloha, of everyone chipping in, everyone trying to help, everyone showing that compassion, that caring attitude that we've been known throughout the years. So today, Tapani has asked me to share some thoughts, share my mana'o with you, based on the fact that I'm involved with hospitality in a major way with Hawaii Lodging and Tourism Association, sit on the HTA board, sit on the Travel and Tourism Advisory Board, but also as a keiki o ka kaina, someone who cares very much about the state of Hawaii. So in terms of messaging, I want to be real clear that we will continue to say, and you see it being said by our governor, our mayor, Hawaii Tourism Authority, and others, that we will continue to respect what needs to be done in West Maui. Our hearts go out to everyone there that have lost their home, lost their lives, lost their job. And that's where the focus should be of all our efforts, to make sure that we're doing all we can to bring them back to a better place. And when we see the outpouring of support that has come in for West Maui, it just warms your heart. And we're not POW yet, and we shouldn't be satisfied, and we shouldn't be content that everything that we have done is enough. It's not enough. We need to do more. Secondly, as we say to be respectful of what's happening in West Maui, the message has to be clear and consistent across the board that the rest of Maui is open. South Maui is open, Kahului, Wailuku, Hana is open, and we welcome travelers to visit Maui at this time. You know this as well as I do. Maui is the most dependent county on tourism. To lose one's house, to lose family members, but then not to have a job on top of that, that is a very difficult situation to be in. And so we need to have this balanced approach, this balanced messaging. I'm so glad now that I see that a lot of folks, perhaps that were sending mixed messages in the beginning, are sort of joining in unison and recognizing that we need to do this. We also need to encourage the fact that there's a perception out there that maybe the rest of the state is not ready for visitors because we're mourning and grieving what's happening in Maui. That's correct. And we'll continue to do that. But the economic reality is we have to open up for business, and we have to make sure that people understand that we welcome them to come to the state and to parts of Maui that are open. I think this is a time also to be very creative with what we need to do. I know that there are many of you in this room that are anxious to hear a date when we can start reopening things beyond Lahaina and the like. Only the governor and the mayor are the key two individuals that can make that decision based on input from your elected officials, based on input from the community, based on input from all of us that have a stake in Maui. But in the meantime, every crisis presents an opportunity to be creative. Every crisis presents an opportunity for us to do things better. Long term, yes, the focus should be on how do we restore Lahaina in such a way that is consistent, that is pono, with our native Hawaiian community, with the residents of Lahaina, with residents of Maui, and of course the state of Hawaii. But in the meantime, with the federal dollars that are coming in, and really grateful that President Biden saw fit to visit our islands, appreciate the good work that Governor Green has done, Mayor Bisson. These are not difficult, these are difficult positions to be in. I know, I sat there myself as a former mayor. But I really believe at the end of the day, they're trying. And the more that we can pull together in one direction, the better off we're gonna be. I heard from the SBA representative, thank you very much for the small business loans. But I'm already asking whether in fact there can be a paycheck protection program that we saw during the COVID period, where those that were hard pressed to try to keep their people on the payroll as they couldn't open up for business, there was an opportunity for federal dollars to assist. Currently, that's not on the books, but certainly this is a time to ask those kind of questions. I think we need to revisit things that we've done in the past and see how we can bring that back, such as encouraging people from the rest of the state, not just visitors, to visit Maui at this time. Staycations is what we used to call them. It's going to be challenging because sometimes people will feel it's not enough, that the discounts that may be offered and the like. But these are the kind of things we have to do, especially with those that are willing to travel. willing to share aloha, willing to spend some dollars, willing to do their part to help Maui. The big question I know on all of your minds is when can we expect the northern part of West Maui to be open beyond Lahaina? You all know that we have a proclamation that says Governor has extended the date to October 17th. So all I would say to those of you, just be patient. This is a very difficult decision to make, but recognizing we know what the economic reality is. The longer that businesses that can open stay shut, it's going to be very, very daunting, the challenge of bringing them back and being a full participant in the economy. I can assure you that we will do all we can, those of us in this industry that we care very much, to see how we can all help each other. And what's important at the end of the day is to also listen to the community. One of my pet phrases is that one of the easiest things in life is to grumble, grumble, grumble. Monku, monku, monku. Complain, complain, complain. The blame game is over. Let's look forward. Let's see what we can do together to bring back jobs on Maui, to bring visitors here who are going to be respectful, mindful, know that we'd like for them to give back and not just come and take from what we have here. All of those are very important questions and challenges. And I think meetings like this help bring us together. Meetings like this help us put together a plan that will work for all of us across the board. So thank you for allowing me to share my mana'o with you today. And again, I appreciate everything that all of you are doing to put Maui in a better place. And especially our relatives, our ohana, our friends, our neighbors in West Maui that are going through a very difficult time. That is number one priority. That is the first thing that we have to continue to do. We can't lose sight of that. But at the same time, we need a balanced perspective of how we can help the other parts of Maui that are so critical to bringing people back and making sure that this economy can go forward. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share my mana'o with you. Aloha kea kua. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much to Mufi for coming to us from afar. Next up, I'd like to welcome to the floor Jimmy Tokoika. Did I get that right? I apologize if I did not. Is Jimmy here today? Oh, hi, Jimmy. You want to slap me on the wrist? Jimmy is the Director of Department of Business and Economic Development, DBED, who will discuss mindful travel, Malama Maui Initiative, and messaging materials for our partners near and far.
Thank you. Aloha kako, everyone. My name is Jimmy Tokioka, as was mentioned earlier. And, it's an honor to be here. I will tell you that Governor Green tasked me with moving people from the shelters, and myself and Luke Myers, moving people from the shelters into hotels. So before I talk about, actually the messaging part is going to be HTA's function, and we'll let them talk about the messaging part. But I want to let everyone in this room know that you have a team of people here on island that had really gone above and beyond to, you just cannot believe the support that happened during this time. So our job at DBED was to take the shelter victims and survivors from the shelters and put them into hotels. I will tell you right now, the Royal Lahaina Hotel, Kelly Sanders and Yvette Kitagawa stepped up big time. A telephone call was made. A telephone call was made. Kelly ran out to the beach, and I was talking to him. I've known Kelly for many, many years. He said, Jimmy, we'll do it. Whatever you need, we'll do it. I said, you don't even know what the rate is. He said, I don't care. He said, the employees of our hotel are already in the room, and we know there's a lot of people in the shelter who are our neighbors, who are our friends and our family, we want to take them into the hotel. So he did it on a phone call. Maybe 4 days later, I got in touch with the Red Cross, and I was like, Aaron is here from the Red Cross. Aaron McCann, please say hi to everyone. So Denise Everhart came into our office at the convention center, and she immediately worked with Kelly and his team. So it was phenomenal. He didn't have a contract. He didn't have any assurances that he was going to get paid. So I want you folks to know that. The other person, the other hotel that stepped up from a telephone call was Jeff Wagner at the Outrigger Kaanapali Beach Hotel. They were housing their employees. Yeah. They were housing their employees. They said, Jimmy, whatever you need. So I know that I'm talking about two hotels, and Mike White, the former manager of the Outrigger, now Outrigger, but it's that kind of spirit that was really motivating for us. We're working out of a room in Honolulu. We can see the devastation. So for all of you that went through it, it was phenomenal what happened, devastating for what everybody saw. And it was, I cannot imagine what you went through. I went through Iniki, and I know Iniki was rough, but Iniki was nothing compared to what we saw. So, thank God for all of you that are here today. And my job here is to make sure that you know that Governor Green and our team is here to assist. I will say that Governor Green, I don't know when he sleeps, because I get texts in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We have legislators here, and I want to introduce them as well, and they know. But let me introduce Representative Quinlan, who is the tourism chair for the House. Senator DeCoit, who is the tourism and economic development chair for the Senate. Troy Hashimoto, who is the chair of the Housing Committee in the House. Governor Green is working endlessly for you. So he has probably given you his cell phone number, and I know from listening to you, you are going to be on the working group for economic recovery for the governor, because he's tasked me with that responsibility and the respect that Tapani, the respect that you've gotten from, to organize something like this in that short amount of time, people wouldn't be here if they did not respect you. So, there were other hotels that stepped up, and I think most of you know who they are, but I just thought I would mention these two because with not even a contract, whatever you need, and they did it. So we were blessed to have them. So that's the short-term fix. Now what we're trying to do is move people from the shelters into more of a home with a refrigerator and a kitchen and a parking space. So that's what we're trying to do, whether it's an Airbnb, whether it's a timeshare, and some of the times I was in a meeting earlier with some of the executives from Kaanapali and the West Maui timeshare and hotel operators, and they're looking at how they're going to put some of those units into some of our Hawaii fire relief programs so that your friends and your family can have a more of like a home living than working out of a hotel. The hotel is 100 times better than the shelter that was at War Memorial, but we're trying to fit them into something that they can be more comfortable with till we figure out what the long-term housing is going to be, because it's going to be years. It's going to be years. I think you've seen it, we feel it, we understand it. So, for me, our job is to come here to listen. And the most important thing that I heard while I was here is we need better communication. We need to know what the state is doing, what FEMA is doing, what the county is doing. So we had a meeting with the mayor's team this morning and some people from FEMA. For those of you who don't know Bob Fenton, you're going to get to know him because he's in charge of Region 9. The man is amazing. He's an amazing man. He was the one who doubled the per diem rate, so these hotels were very happy with what they got for a per diem rate for their rooms. So our job, again, is to communicate and listen, and we will put together a list of phone numbers that people can call, whether it's the SBA, whether it's HUD. And in this new world of social media and electronic communication, we'll put it in a QR code so that people can connect to these numbers. We'll connect with the county and the state, FEMA, and everyone else. So you have these numbers at your disposal, on your person. And other than that, I just want to thank you all for being here tonight, for listening. And we're going to listen to you. We're going to find out what is important to you so that we can help you move forward with some kind of normalcy in your life. Aloha, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Next to the podium, I'd like to invite Tony Davis from the Hawaii Attractions Association. Is Tony hiding in the audience? There we go. All righty. We'll give Tony a brief moment to make her way down to the podium. Again, Tony Davis from the Hawaii Attractions Association.
Aloha. Thanks. Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to speak because there's so many people here that are so akamai and have so much information. Really what I would like to share, as she said, I'm with the Activities and Attractions Association of Hawaii. One of the reasons I love my job is the people that I work for, they live here. They own businesses here. They employ people here. Their profits stay here. They're part of this community. And a third of them lost a lot. The other two-thirds on Maui are shuttered. It's worse than COVID. I also have another hat where I run a reservation system. And so I thought it would be interesting to look at the numbers. And I looked at August 1st through August 7th, and we were down 12% compared to last year, which I think everybody would agree. We've been a little slower summer, right? July wasn't great, right? So then I looked at the next week, the 8th through the 15th. It was down 88%. This includes forward future sales, down 88%. Following that, 93%. So the decrease is increasing. There's, as one of my members shared with me, it's like we have 3 different types of people on Maui. Why I live here and why I love it is because of the wonderful things that were said before about aloha and the kindness and our community and how united we are. But there's the people that lost. We all get it. They're the most important. They lost something, right? Then there's the people who, and I fluctuate in and out of this group, who just can't handle. It's so heavy, and we have a hard time functioning. We don't know what to do. We've tried to help. There's so much help. We all love each other so much. It's wonderful. And then there's the third group, which are mostly those people that have businesses on the south side. They're laying people off. They have mortgages to pay. They don't know how they're going to make it. It's worse than COVID because there's no safety net, right? So, I'm just trying to think of ways that I can help. And Kalani and Mahina came and met with me on Monday and really helped with some ideas of what could be done. And one of the things they need is like the stats I just shared. We need to know, the magnitude of what's happening so that maybe we can get funding. I think, we all see the rental cars, right? Feels kind of surreal and familiar. We need help. We need help at the federal level. Tens of billions in dollars went for the Ukraine. Why can't we get some federal money? Why can't PPP get resurrected for our businesses? And I want to give kudos to the Small Business Association because with the software company that I run, I filled out a form. Granted, it took me a couple days, but I filled out the form, submitted it this morning, and within 40 minutes of submitting it, it was being reviewed, which was really wow. The other thing for those of you at the state level that we really need is unemployment doesn't seem like it's been fixed since COVID. Some of the reports I've gotten from the South Maui people who are laying people off, that unemployment is really frustrating. It would be nice to have maybe a dedicated portal for Maui people with this disaster that they could go to and just get fast-tracked in some way. One other thing is we need stats, like I was saying. For us to get money and to do some of these things, we need numbers. So I set up a website very quickly with a form. It's maui.org/strong. Because like this says, an employed Maui is a resilient Maui, right? So if you could go to that website, let us know if your business is open, how many people you've laid off, how many people are still employed, how much money you've lost because of this thing. So we can actually quantify this when we go and lobby for some of these things, because we need help. And I know we're really proud, and we don't like to do that so much, but you know what? We need help. So I think that's about all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tony. Next up, I'd like to invite Pamela Tumpop, representing the Maui Chamber of Commerce, to the podium. Mahalo, Pamela.
Thank you so much. Well, I love that we started with aloha. And as Tony said, this is like COVID all over again, only it's worse. Because during COVID, we still had our homes to go to. Our businesses were still standing, albeit shut down. But it's so much worse. And for the Chamber, what we're doing is getting back to what we did during COVID, probably times 100 at this point. But the thing that we say over and over again that we started in COVID is, how can we serve? Now, we're known as a business organization, and of course we serve businesses. But those businesses are people like us. They're owned and operated by people like us. They employ people like us. So when we say, how can we serve, we mean, how can we serve the community? And we're hearing amazing stories. And I want to just say to all of our lawmakers, everybody's signing the declarations early, from our mayor to the governor, with the lieutenant governor getting that started, to the president, has been a tremendous help. But we jumped in before anybody got here. And so people were saying, gosh, there were systems already in place and there are leadership roles, and then FEMA comes in. And so we tripped over our toes a little bit. And this is not to point fingers, but to also say that we're not only are we the kind of people who always are resilient and jump in to help, no matter what we're suffering, we also are the kind of people that if we see something that can be improved upon, not grumbling, but to point out systems, we need to say that, because we need to be as efficient and effective as possible. I'm hearing stories from people on the front line. You know, that it was said earlier on by our police chief that we were all going to know when the numbers started coming in, somebody who passed. And I live in Pukalani. My family and I have been doing everything we can to serve. My daughter just moved back from Kansas City. She serves every day volunteering. And we're hearing a lot of stories. And now we're getting to see the people who aren't found. And we're realizing that we all know somebody who's probably gone. But the community still unites, and we're doing everything we can along the way. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce invited me to speak to Fortune 500 companies. And so we're getting big help now, which is so exciting. But it takes a lot of coordination, because people on the mainland who are trying to make big donations and we're trying to get stuff, there are people who are sending things that we're not ready to use yet. And then we have to take people off of serving and getting things out that we do need to deploy to warehousing space. It's changing every day. Someone said to me the other day, oh, I think we still need pillows and blankets and sheets and towels. And I said, we're moving everybody into hotels right now. Do we still need all those pillows, blankets, sheets, and towels? So we're trying to still say there's some coordination that we can continue to do. The stories, it's hard to imagine, because we're all grieving these tremendous losses. And yet, a lot of the people I talk to have lost everything. And they're on the front lines helping everybody else. And some of them lost their home, and some of them lost their home and their business. And some of them don't even know how much they've lost and are still hopeful to see that the loss is going to be less than they're currently thinking it is. And we've had a couple of wins with businesses actually surviving fires as well. But it's a time where we still need to unite. We need to lift each other up. We need to be sending positive messages to the world and positive messages to ourselves, because there are a lot of layoffs coming. And, you know, we know that I'm talking to companies every day who haven't even gotten to see their business. It's just leveled. Every once in a while, we're working with the police because something is found of value, and we need to urgently get them there so they can recover it, because they don't have time to protect it. They're still working in the recovery area. We hear of businesses who maybe weren't in Lahaina at all, but their entire business was serving Lahaina customers. And they're now having a small tour business is laying off 22 people. You know, we do every year the annual Maui County Festival, and we have people who manufacture so many local products and goods, and they sell to many of those businesses in Lahaina. And they're not in that region, but they're devastated. So it's a time where we just really want to, you know, this is a community that keeps serving and always serves. And I keep reminding people how dependent we are on tourism. Think back to COVID. We held the record, little Maui held the record for the highest unemployment in the nation. And it shocked the world. Okay, and now we're going to see a greater landslide. We have businesses, SBA has an amazing loan, and it's my understanding that if you had an idle loan, so for those, there's many different programs, and of course, I do want to say FEMA has grants, and they are grants, and they are real. Nobody's trying to steal your money or your property. That needs to be said, and the more information's coming out. SBA has 3 loan programs for housing, for your business, for equipment, and then there's a 4th, for those directly impacted, and then there's a 4th, the idle loans, for those who have economic injury as a result of the disasters. And many people are going to qualify for that haven't yet realized that they qualify because their business has been hurt as a result. But here's what I'm hearing. Many businesses already have an idle loan, and they were barely recovering from COVID, and they're so afraid to take out another idle loan now, as low as the interest rate is, because they're barely making the payments on the last one, and they don't know how to move forward with a new one. And then they've got other greater losses they're going to be dealing with. Home building is going to take a long time. Supply costs are going up. How many of the families out there re-roofed homes, enclosed garages, added space for extended families given our housing crisis, and didn't up their insurance? We are in a world of hurt. But the good news is the world is here to help us. The aloha spirit we have shared, the magic of Maui, has so many people all across the globe reaching out trying to help. And I'm just so amazed. 2 of the people who were champions of a West Maui fire station, fundraising through the West Maui Taxpayers Association for a fire station in Oluwalu, Joe Pluta and Rick Nava, both barely escaped with their lives and lost their homes. But they're championing and they're working. And now they don't want 1 fire station, by the way, now they want 6. And now they've tapped me to help fundraise, and so we're fundraising for the fire station as well as trying to fundraise to support businesses. But a key thing, we are going to be build back stronger. I do want to encourage, as we're building back and we're working with the federal agencies, we need to remind them that we have a lot of supplies and people we can use here at home. So we want to remind people to circulate those dollars in our economy by Maui first, as we've always said. And we're going to come up with better solutions, and we're going to build back. But there are some visitors we're hearing, sometimes Lahaina was the place that they wanted to come most. They came year after year, and they can't fathom coming to someplace else. That was their place. For other visitors we're hearing, they're so disheartened because their hearts are with us, that they can't fathom seeing the devastation that we've seen, and they don't want to see it. But the challenge is, we are so overly dependent on the visitor industry. We don't have enough residents to shore up our businesses, to shore up the restaurants and the retail operations and the activities. So we have to let the world know that we want them. And not only do we want them, we need them. And I'm going to ask you, I didn't write any of this down except for one thing, because we're here today to talk about how we unify messages. And I was on a call with a consultant who said, you know, you need 7 key points that everybody can agree with. And you need everybody saying those 7 key points consistently. We might wrap it around for different organizations a little differently. But we all need to kind of coalesce on what it is we're unified in telling the world. So I'd like you to close your eyes. Now, this is a message I wrote because I've been putting out messages that we're open, that we want you, but we want you to come to other parts of the island and see the magic of Maui and the aloha spirit and see other things, but we have to protect Lahaina now. This is a time to honor and protect. There's much healing that has to happen, and that we need to give them time, regardless of the time that it takes. But there's other places, and you can contribute. So as I read this message, and it's just my message, it's not right, it was just my thoughts today, what I want you to do is pick it apart in your mind. If you hear something that you would say a different way, if you think something else should be said, think about that, because that's what we're going to get to later, is how do we come up with a unified message. So if you will, just close your eyes for a moment. And this is something I wrote to the visitors. We deeply appreciate your love and concern for Maui and your tremendous support for our recovery from the wildfires. Lahaina has been devastated and needs time to grieve, heal, and recover. Our people are hurting. Lahaina needs to be protected during this time, and we must ensure that it is given the required time. However, we want you to know Maui is still open. Maui is now and will always be a magical place to visit. We encourage you to get to know and visit again, and we encourage you to be renewed by our heart and spirit of aloha that has been cherished worldwide. We want to invite all who have a love for Maui that one of the best ways that you can continue to support our island really relies heavily on having you come back, because the visitor industry is so important to our economy, environment, and social well-being. We need you. Now is the time to come and visit other beautiful parts of our island that are open. There are many glorious places to see and enjoy, with restaurants, activities, shopping, tours, and more during this time of critical need. By coming, you will help us. You will help us rebuild. You will help us honor Lahaina. You will help us heal. You can encourage others to do the same. You can help us restore cultural resources and historical sites. You can help us remain Maui strong. You can help us protect and honor all that we cherish and learn more in the process. And if you so choose, you can help us, boots on the ground, rebuild, because you make the difference in helping get our Maui back and keeping it for future generations. Please come and join us. Help keep us Maui strong and Maui no ko'oi. Aloha.
Thank you, Pamela. All right. I've been asked to invite 3 attendees who perhaps were not expecting to speak, but I'm hoping that they'll introduce themselves and perhaps share a few words. They were actually introduced just a few moments ago. I'd like to invite to the podium Representative Troy Hashimoto, Representative Sean Quinlan, and Senator Lynn DeCoit.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here with you. I think what I really want to do, again, Troy Hashimoto, I represent Wailuku in the State House, and what I really want to do is I want to listen to each of you to understand what are the needs. You know, Tony just talked about UI. I just shot off an email to my colleague to say there's problems with UI. So Tony, there's an email in your inbox right now trying for us to understand what are those pain points. And I think that's really what we want to do. You know, the day after the fire, Jeremy Kozuki of Homemade Bakery called me and said, I'm concerned. A lot of my accounts were in West Maui. What are we going to do? And I think that's what we're trying to figure out. Can we do something like a PPP? Can we do expanded UI? I think all those conversations are happening. And I think now is the time that we're going to have to leverage the federal government to see if we can do more grants versus loans. And I think that's an ask when we have meetings with our federal government. That's our ask. I think that's what we're going to do, but I think we need to understand more of what else that you need. So please feel free to reach out. We're here to listen. We're here to understand, because I think we know that this is the lifeblood, and just by the attendance here, we know it's a huge concern. So we want to be a part of the solution. We want to support you. And I think I'm very happy that one of my colleagues is here from Honolulu, who chairs the tourism committee. And he's here, you know, he truly cares about the Maui community, and that's why he's here. So I wanted to introduce you to Sean Quinlan.
Aloha, good evening. My heart is very heavy today. I do represent the North Shore of Oahu, and for some strange reason, they made the North Shore guy the tourism chair. I'll never understand it, because my community doesn't like tourists. We hate tourists. And so we got Molokai and North Shore Oahu holding it down for the tourism industry. But one of the first things I said to Mike White when I took on this challenge of being the chair was that one of my goals is to help the public to remember where all of our revenue comes from, where all of our jobs come from. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was very evident. Nobody questioned it. It was just sort of a part and parcel of our daily lives. Something happened in the last decade, and people have not seen the value in tourism the way that they used to. And I think that is part of the public relations problem that we're facing here on Maui, because those feelings of resentment were already present before the fire. You know, one of the things that I've really tried to do over the last year is push HTA to continue their incredible work in destination management. And to me, it's hotspot mitigation. It's showing the residents that there's a value from tourism, there are resources coming in, and we're going to use those resources to improve their quality of life. So that's going to be a major mission for both myself and for the Tourism Authority over the next coming months and years. We have been working on some things behind the scenes with DBED, trying to identify existing programs and pots of money that we can use to deploy money quickly as grants, not loans. So there are two programs we're looking at. One is the Manufacturing Assistance Program, which is a grant program to purchase all kinds of equipment. But the AGs think that we would have to come back to special session to use that program. But I got off the phone with Mark earlier today, Richie, and he thinks that we can use CBED money, the CBED program, the Community Economic Development Program, which can provide very, very broad-based, open-ended grants of up to $100,000 for basically almost anything. One caveat, there's no money in it now, in that program. It is an empty program, but the legislature, in its infinite wisdom, gave Governor Green the ability to use a budget proviso and a very large, several $100 million fund that he can dip into that we're currently using to fund HTA's operations. I believe that we can dip into that pot of money to 200. No, several, sorry. It's more than, two is more than one, it's several. I served 6 years with Jimmy, so, in the State House. So we are doing everything we can. I've been talking to all the various chambers, our statewide chamber, the restaurant association, the retail merchants. We lost 102 restaurants and 109 retail establishments when Lahaina burned. That is a staggering number. And what that number tells me is that Lahaina was such a necessary adjunct to the visitor experience of Kaanapali, to the visitor experience of Wailea, of Kihei, right? Because the sheer variety of restaurants is staggering. So one of the ideas that we're working on, and this is very, very early, and we don't want to seem insensitive. We don't want to step on anyone's toes. We're just looking for resources that we can deploy, but potentially setting up food truck areas or pop-up shops in air-conditioned shipping containers just to keep businesses going, just to keep people employed. The question of when we would do that and where we would stage them would be left up to the folks in this room. But myself and the legislature, we're just here ready to support all of you. So thank you for your time, and I'd like to introduce my colleague, my dear counterpart, Senator Linda Coit from Molokai.
Aloha. So first of all, this is what you got to deal with when you deal with the legislature. My dear counterpart that seems to mix up 1 million to 6 million and above. But no, you know, all in, first of all, my thoughts and prayers to you, your families, the businesses. Like many of my colleagues, the phone calls came in. You know, I know Gabe guys, Kuhn has reached out. They have, like many of you, your businesses have been helping everybody else, and you guys have suffered grave loss yourself. I'm here to listen to all of you. I want to know what you folks need. Exactly, Tony, thank you. UI, Jade Boutte is literally getting his phone blown up right now. So, you know, those resources are here. I spent my day this morning stopping off at the Red Cross, watching intake for those who had mistrust on FEMA. We had Papaolo Lokahi at the Kahului Community Center working with some of the people that had a hard time understanding how to do the paperwork, how to get their IDs. Heather guys were really good. Telly is there with her team from Papaolo Lokahi. You know, there's a lot of help out there, and there's also a lot of mistrust. So I want people to know that while FEMA has had its share of bashing and bruising, they are working side by side, also with the Red Cross. And the Red Cross is not a state agency. It's an agency that is a standalone. They have done a lot of intake, and I want to also give credit where credit is due to former representative and now the new DBED director, interim DBED director, Jimmy Tokioka, and his team. From that night, they have gotten the call. They literally put up a whole site at the convention center, probably worked 3 days straight without any sleep. The guidance with Jimmy Tokioka of Kalani Ka'ana'ana, Ili'iha guys who had been working tirelessly, effortlessly, just information back and forth, and informing us. And while everybody worked in their own strange ways and tried to help in every which way they can, government or not, we all had ties to the people of Lahaina, and not to forget the people up in Kula. But at the end of the day, you know, as a business owner myself, I can tell you, we all went through our hard times. We struggle. We continue to struggle. I'm not a fan of government, even while working within the political realm. They work too bloody slow for the rest of us. So normally we just jump up and do what we gotta do. And I really wanna hear from all of you. I wanna thank you for allowing us to be here and to share this time with all of you. Thank you to Pani and Mike for putting this on in such fast time and notice. But we'll be here all night if it takes that, so good luck for you going home tonight too, Jimmy Tokioka and the rest of the team. I'll be sitting right here and listening to you guys all night. Mahalo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Last but not least, I have one more speaker. Finally, I'd like to introduce Auntie Maka, who is the cultural advisor for the Royal Lahaina and a community leader that is operating on the front lines of Lahaina.
Aloha mai kako. And thank you for this opportunity to be their voice from Lahaina. On my way here, I had to pick up my phone and call Archie Kalepa. So, you know, what is our message? Yes. So when this disaster happened in our Kaia'ulu, our community, automatically we just activate. And that's just what we do. We just activate. I just pick up my phone, and it's like, Keomoku, Archie, we got to meet. You know, and that's where it starts. And just so that you know, I actually am a full-time worker at the Royal Lahaina Resort. So, hey, Kelly, he got good culture training. Yeah. But that's my job. That is what I do. But taking care of our community is who we are. Yeah, who we are. So the message is, give us time. That's all we ask, is to give us time. And we're working forward. And yes, FEMA, we activated our group. So we're called the West Maui Community Aid. And it's like, wow, we never heard about you folks. Well, we're working. Well, we never see you folks. We're working. You know, we talk about Laulima. When we talk about Laulima, Mikalo Kahi, many hands, it's going to take many hands for us to be unified so we can holomua kako to kako'o our community. Our kupuna, our makua, our opio, and our keiki. To take them one step at a time. And we're not there, but we're on our way. And so I wanted to say thank you to HTA for making the time to come and visit we call ourselves like on command post. Never heard that before. But we are being led by Amos Lonokailua Hewitt, my nephew, who is actually retired, and he said, you know, Auntie, I don't even know what is my role here. I said, I think they call that the incident commander. In our Olelo, you are the kalaimoku. So everybody just activated their kuleana, and we just have to do it, and we got to do it together. So I just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity, and the message is, give us time. Time to heal, time to cry together, and time to just love one kanaka, one ohana, one at a time, back to life. And it was a very warm setting for our kaya ulu to be in the presence of the Pelikikena, the president. I actually called him uncle. You know, I didn't realize I was going to be his kako'o. Everybody was just doing all their things until the White House associate, his name is Alexander. And I said, okay, you are Alika. Your name is Alexander, Auntie gonna call you Alika. So I got all these White House kids calling me Auntie Maka. And they said, Auntie Maka, you need to come with us. We're going to be behind the black curtain. And I said, we're going to rehearse. I said, what are we rehearsing? You're going to bring the potes. I said, what's a potes? And yeah. I said, what is a potes? He goes, the president. I said, of the United States of America. He said, yes. What a great opportunity. We were told that we broke every protocol. Nobody gets close to holding the president's hand and his arm and singing, Hawaii Ponoi. And you know what? He loved it. Because that's the audience that he was looking for, is the audience of our people. So they could see him and he could see our kupuna, and they were able to share their heart and say, we need your help. We need your help, and we want to build Lahaina the way we want to build Lahaina back. And he said, okay. So now there's accountability. We shared our heart. So now we continue on to pray. Pule changes things. Pule always changes things. We kahea, they call. We kahea, they came. They came. Everybody came. So with that, I'm not going to take too much time, but mahalo for this opportunity to be able to share the voices of our kaya ulu in Lahaina. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui loa. Wonderful, thank you. I have just a few words that are going to be spoken up here at the front before we open up the floor for a little bit of discussion. I am going to pass the microphone on for just a few moments to our marketing director, Mr. Mark Matthews.
Aloha. Hi. Sherry and I would like to thank you for coming to our birthday today. It's been a long 29 years, so clearly. Before we move on, I did want to make a couple announcements. On Friday and Saturday, we're holding a wellness pop-up clinic. We're putting some tents in the parking lot where people can get touch therapy and talk therapy and all kinds of acupuncture and counseling. We have over 150 providers that have volunteered their time for both Friday and Saturday. We have an amazing community, and so it will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on both those days, and it's free for the entire Maui community. So please come out. Please come join community. Come start leading toward the charge of good mental health, good personal self-care, because we're all going to need it. It's a long road. And so please bring people that you know need it. A lot of us are very sensitive, and it's been a long couple weeks, so please. We're going to try to bust in as many people as we can. We're pulling people in from the west side, those that are available and want it. Also, this Sunday, we're opening up our doors for free to all residents in Kama'aina. So please come join us for that as well. That'll be 9 to 5, completely free entrance. So please come, have a day, a normal day. Let's get some normalcy. Let's experience some awe and some wonder, and let's reconnect with each other. So please join us for that as well. So as we start to pivot to the topic of messaging, because that's one of the main reasons we're here. And I think we've gotten a lot of really good information here, and we need to start to synthesize it. So I'm going to add some thoughts, some ideas, perhaps some inspiration, and some ways that we can move forward. And then, of course, we'll turn it over to you, and then we'll work together to see what we can come up with. If you'll bear with me, I wrote this down because I want to be very careful with my words. And I think that moving on from here, that we all need to be very, very careful with our words, very, very specific, and treat them with sort of the respect and honor they deserve. It's clear that a holistic approach is key to the recovery, is essential, so that we can support those deeply affected now and in the future. When the media cycle moves on, we will continue the work, and as we all know, it will take years, perhaps decades, to fully recover. The devastated, the displaced, and those who lost family have a long road ahead of them. Let us hold them when we can and lift them up when they are receptive to it. We have an entire community navigating the deep emotional effects of intense trauma. In the meantime, we must use our voices, our outreach, the media, and the digital tools at our disposal to protect and elevate all of those I think we will identify today. But in my mind, Island is sacred and a place of peace, a place for them to rejuvenate and learn and experience the awe and wonder and elevation that helps connect us all to our own humanity. We should be mindful of the conversations in the digital sphere. There are social influencers educating and raising very valid points worthy of ongoing discussion. It is important, though, that we tease out those issues with the immediate importance of protecting the economic vulnerability of our island. We should not conflate them or slip into arguments that do. Hawaii and its people are passionate. It is a strength, and that should never be faulted. You may come across information being shared that is incorrect. Arguing will not help and often will come off as insensitive. Do not discount points of view. Rather, if compelled, gently challenge them to consider facts. Acknowledge the truth and passion that is mixed in with their words. If they are unwilling to discuss calmly, disengage and focus your efforts elsewhere. There are no enemies here. not the media, not the tourists, not the social media, not those raising ideas of sovereignty. They are potential allies, and they have their own commendable traits, and ultimately many are our family. Treat them with the respect that they deserve. Look out for each other. Echo thoughtful points of view, repost each other, speak highly of each other, and whether you agree with each other or not, listen to people and let them know they are heard. Grief and mourning happen in all sorts of ways. Let people grieve as they are meant to grieve. But also, do not be shy. Do not let the media focus on the sensational. Don't let them exploit people's outrage. Speak to them, send the press releases, show them your sensitivity and dignity, challenge their narratives. Finally, challenge our political leaders. Many in this room. Let's lead with one unified voice that we are here to take care of all of Maui, its vulnerable families, those already that have lost, and those that stand to lose more. Maui Strong is not just a catchphrase. It's a rally, it's a battle cry, an aspiration, one that I'm certain that we will and can live up to and use to form a sustainable, determined, and resilient Maui. Mahalo for your support, your attention, and your unity. Thank you. From here, I'm going to pass the mic to Michael Takamura, who was essential in putting this together. So thank you, Michael.
Hey, Marcus. We're going to open the floor to discussion. Again, please let it be positive questions. Our leaders on the floor want to hear feedback, what your needs are about businesses. I had response, sorry, I don't know how many of you stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning watching TikTok, but that's what I do, and I'm watching all the social media posts. There are a lot of comments coming in, both negative and good. There's our Ohana units that are out there from the Midwest all across, and they're all telling me that, for example, in Minnesota, some travel agents are getting together and they're becoming a resource center for donations, and they want to send it over on top of doing the funding donations. So we have help coming from all over, and that's how much people love Maui. I had a question this morning, so I want to bring this up to our leaders here to make you aware that not only it's the inbound flights that may be affected, and I know we have some people from Hawaiian Airlines and Alaska here. Hawaiian, you're going to love this, but I heard that even our outbound flights are getting affected. So there's people that wanted to leave on business trips. American Airlines has sent out a formal letter saying, we are canceling your flight. Please book with Hawaiian. But it's getting, again, some of these messages are getting mixed because not only is it hard welcoming back, people that have to get out to go on businesses can't make it out there because there's not enough flights and visitors coming in. So there's no sense of sending an empty plane back. So again, these are some of the things that, again, that keeps me up at night. And again, I'm going to just give one. This is not negative, but I'm going to just give one. This is a person, and these people wanted to travel to Maui, and I don't believe how, whatever they are, ignorant, whatever we can call them, but these guests were demanding, why can't, I told Kavika about this, why can't they book Feast of Lele? They couldn't understand why the reservations wasn't being kept. So whether they're paying attention or not, there's people out there that either is ignoring what's going on or they just don't know. So again, as our leadership here, as we all said, we gotta unify in a message, and it has to start getting out there for the fact that now we have visitors, whether they wanna be aware or they're ignorant, whatever it is, but we have people now that's taking their frustration and voicing it into a negative issue, and then we have other people harping on top of that voice, which is, it's not good. So we're gonna open up the floor, please, again. Senator DeCoit, letting you know that Senator Wakai told me that he's gonna try and, he's watching from the Zoom. I'm letting you know that Tina from the Merchants Association, she wrote and she's on. So there is a lot of people outside of this room that are actually watching from Zoom. So we have people from the mainland all the way on down. Ron? No? Oh. See, that's when you don't want to do when you are in a bidding process.
One moment, I just grabbed a microphone from up top, so I'm just going to make my way over to you.
Could you introduce yourself, your question, and then who you're going to direct it to, or I'll pass it on.
Together, can we pass this over?
Aloha, my name is Christy Yomes, representing Chrysalis Events Hawaii. First off, I want to say something before I ask my question. Royal Lahaina, you guys are amazing. I have been really fortunate to volunteer with Red Cross, who has done an amazing job, tireless and quietly. My husband lost his brother in Lahaina, his family home. You know, there's so much, yes, we have to heal, but our hospitality industry is in need as well. Our clients, we do corporate coming into the islands. Our clients is asking us every day, how can we support Christy? We have a group coming in September that's gonna be in the Wailea side. Yes, they can't do a tour that we had in Lahaina, but we're altering things, and they really wanna help. And she said, Christy, how can I help? I know we can't have them volunteering, I get it. But what can our corporate clients that are coming in the fall, September and December, they want to give, and I don't know what to tell them. There's so many organizations. I, as a volunteer, Red Cross, I believe in them. They've been amazing. And I've been out at Royal Lahaina every other day. Polynesian Adventure, where's Ronnie? Ronnie, amazing job. I called her one day and say, we need to transport people. And she said, Christy, no problem. Do you know, I asked for one mini coach, she gave us 3. And she gave mini coaches for every hotel. And we were transporting people to services. So, you know, there is so much going on, and I want our corporate clients to help. I just don't know how to guide them. Like, they want to give money. We've got groups in April, and they don't want to not come to Hawaii. They want to come to Maui. So how can we guide them to be the right vehicle for these corporations that are coming in?
Hello, I'm Kalani with the Hawaii Tourism Authority. You know, I think the bottom line is encourage them to come. I think that's the most important. And then I think we do need to think creatively, right? Can we find a local set of businesses, say restaurants or whatever it may be, art galleries, whatever, and package it together and say, we're gonna go on a guided tour and we're gonna, I don't know, bar hop or restaurant hop, and it becomes the experience. And it supports different kinds of businesses. So I think in your itinerary and in talking with the meeting planners, that may be a simple solution where you're driving dollars into local businesses when they need it most.
I wasn't going to speak, but my thoughts are geared exactly to what you're asking, and it's really to the whole group. I'm a new business owner on Front Street. I've just been there 2 years, but I just have so much respect for everybody and how we have all come together and shared our resources and shared our care for one another. And also, I just want to say that, you know, at different times with City Council and at different times with what's been going on with the seawall and parking and other decision-making processes, I don't feel like the business owners have been included. And I feel like now is the time to include us, because I think there's a lot of tremendous thinkers and leaders there. We're the people who have trained that community, know that community intimately, have been in that community every single day, day in and day out, who work with, you know, our employees, their families, who witness everybody down there and have the best interest and the most investment in that area. And I think that our thinking processes as, you know, community leaders and builders, it has value. And one thing that I just want to add to this conversation to her question specifically is that for so long, Maui has had what you said from the North Shore, we don't want tourists. And now we're begging tourists to come. And I think that is a little problematic for both sides. I don't think it's healthy. My background is actually in holistic health, and that's not a healthy relationship. To say, we don't want you, oh, never mind, we need you. We saw a lot of government leadership do this after COVID. We're gonna fire you. And then after say, we're desperate to have you back. We can't operate without you. And so that's a thin line to walk. And I'm speaking to you because I really loved what you said. And what I'd like, my thought, I don't have the answer, obviously, and there's incredible leadership here, and the leadership of Maui, like the Kanaka leadership this week, so many people move my heart with their message of inclusion for everyone who lives here and cares about this community. Those messages, I spread those messages so far to every person who would listen so that we could all have a unified heart. But anyway, my two simple ideas to not speak too much is that maybe right now is the time to work really hard on taking these resources, the resources of the people, the corporations who do love Maui and do love Hawaii, and say, you know what, we're gonna build some things right now that make us less dependent on you. We're gonna build some community infrastructure, some food independence, some things that help the people here not be in this situation again. And they do wanna help. I think people respect the sovereignty of Hawaii. Even the people who come here as tourists, they really do. My customers did. They had so much aloha, all the visitors, so humble. They wanna give in the same way. They would love to say, hey, you know what, we're gonna build something for the people who live here that endures way more than tourism dollars. And we welcome you to participate in that. They would do it in a heartbeat. I really think so. So whether that's, you know, agriculture, whether, you know, whatever it is, and I did want to point out that I do know of other models. Bermuda got themselves off of tourism. They got themselves off of tourism, and they were 100% dependent. So there's models out there that have done it. And it doesn't mean we're closing the walls, but it means now maybe is a time to live true to what we've been saying we wanted the whole time. And then the other thing that I've just been referring everybody to a really cool page called Lahaina Ohana Venmo. And so when people want to contribute, they can go and meet a specific family. There's stories up there of specific people who were directly impacted, and so people can read their stories and give to them directly without going through an organization. So that's one way that I would say for the immediate need that's there is a really powerful one. But I do think that right now, getting clear that it's not either or. We are dependent on tourism. And these islands do heal people from all over the world. And so we do want to, that inclusive message is important, and we're going to, and everyone's changing their tune real fast, but maybe it's a time to like just drop the either or, but it has to be both. It'd be a time to really kind of try and get less dependent and recognize that that's a part of this conversation.
All right. I see a couple of hands up. We're going to address them in the order that they went up.
Ron Williams.
So we're going to go ahead and address over here, and then we'll keep track of everybody. As moving as this is, we want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I just want to make sure that we're continuing to be concise.
Aloha, everybody. My name's Javier Canalops. If somehow you don't know me, it's a miracle. I am the owner of Maui Dreams Dive Company, Island Style Diving. Sadly, all the footage that you saw from the drone footage was my footage. I'm the one that put that out there. I brought ABC News out to Lahaina, and I knew that everybody had to see what was going on. All right. First, I'd like to talk about how we can help. All right. The drone footage was devastating, and that's what really brought attention to Maui and the devastation. But we can use drone footage to also bring attention back. I think that the Hawaii tourism industry, we should be flying over Kihei and Wailea and showing people that Maui is still intact, okay? You know, although I own a tiny company here, Maui Dreams Dive Company is now the only dive shop on Maui that has a boat, all right? The dive industry here is massive. although it does not generate me millions upon millions of dollars, it's what drives people here. So at the same time, I get phone calls every single day. Hey, I heard there's debris all over the water. I heard that, that all of Maui's burnt down and there's smoke everywhere. So I believe we should be putting out more images, more footage from the sky and from the ground. All you business owners that have properties, we need to be engaged. I've been on the news quite a bit, and you're going to see me on the news quite a bit more. I'm trying to do interviews, trying to do exactly what we're doing now, except in the public sphere. I'll be on Fox News on Monday, and I hate Fox News, but I'll be on Fox News on Monday telling tourists to come back, that this place is still beautiful, that Wailea and Kihei are still open, that Makawao and Hana are still open. But we need to see them being open. We need to visually see them, and we really need to get our business owners and our ohana out here to showcase that. I know it's very difficult. I know it's very sensitive, and we're all scared of backlash to showing Maui that we're open and that we're happy and moving forward, but that is the only way we're going to move forward. As well, right now, I think I'm the only person representing the dive industry. Is there anybody else on the dive industry? No. So I am the only representative of the dive industry here. I want to, since I've got this public forum just for a second, I would like to say that the dive industry has always had a double-edged sword where, a lot of the community doesn't want more dive industry and more dive organizations. But I want to let you know that right now it is in major peril. All of the dive shops in Maui, in Lahaina have been burned, Lahaina divers, I can just name them off, all right? In Maui, it is almost impossible for you to sell your dive company. You cannot transfer your permits. A lot of these business owners that own dive companies have zero options right now. They couldn't even sell their permits if they wanted to. And I really am calling for the county members and those people in power to let's speak with DLNR and let's really reconsider how it is to be able to either sell your dive company or purchase new permits. Because without the dive industry, guys, tourists aren't gonna come here, all right? We've got major snorkeling boats. A lot of people come here to really be part of our amazing waters, all right? As well as our Aina, as well as our land, but the waters here draw a lot of attention. And if we do not really help our dive community and our snorkeling community, it is gonna be extremely, extremely impactful. And I just ask, since I'm the only one speaking for the dive community, to please help us.
Thank you. Can you pass the mat? Yes. Anybody want to address? If not, let's have Ron Williams. Thank you. He was making a statement that the ocean and dive shops should be heard.
Thank you all for being here. Obviously, it's a horrible time, but we do thank you. And I have a question. I want to make one comment. How we be successful, it's a collective ambition. All of us have ambitions. All of us want things. But the more and more we stand together collectively and help each other be successful, the better we'll be in the future. So we need to really think about the collective ambition. My question, thank you. My question comes to HVCB, because you're so quiet over there. What can we do to make sure that we support the airline industry and they keep flying to Maui? Is there something, or do you have a plan? Not to put you on the spot, because we all know that's very, very important. Thank you. Oh, HTA.
Hi, Ron. Hey, you know how this works. Fundamentally, the board of directors did approve airline co-op funds that we're looking to deploy, and so that we can do sort of co-op partnerships. I think that that's one way to make sure that we can preserve airlift. Thanks.
Thank you.
I have a question over here.
Hi, everyone. More than a question, I do have a proposal. I think that no idea is too small, especially since we're here together trying to find a solution. So we are all here because basically social media and different channels and platforms have said that Maui is closed. And now we're trying to send a message that Maui is open, but there's no more information beyond that. So I feel that we should streamline and send everyone to a place, a website. I came up with a mock-up of a Maui pocket guide so the information is consistent, because I've seen on Facebook groups and Instagram and all over, people are reaching out from all over the world. They want to come, but they get hate messages instead. So if we can all gather and share the same vibe, and we can say, this is a map for Hana, you can go here. Upcountry and North Shore, you can go here. Wailea and South, or Kihei, you can go here. And Wailuku and Maalaya, you can go here. Some people are scared, they don't know where to look for. There's so many sources that are not providing the right information. So I feel we need to join together and establish a platform that everyone, hotels, airlines, rental cars, and everyone else can say, go here, we can update the information as Lahaina evolves, and so on.
Sure. Thanks so much. What I would recommend, your website is gohawaii.com. That is supported by the state and HTA. It is our main visitor destination website. We're happy. What we need to do is make sure that you're funneling that information to us. Part of what Tony Marie is helping us with in that link is a really important way for us to ensure that we can get the word out about what is open and what is available. But my recommendation is that we not create something ad hoc for Maui in this response, but instead use a platform that has an established sort of active user base. And Jay, I don't know if you know what some of those numbers are in Go Hawaii. And we also have a Go Hawaii app. And I think that those are two really functional ways that are already deployed, but we need your information about what's open, what's up, and we can push it out that way. And then again, through all of the various channels that we have to distribute information, whether it's travel trade, wholesalers, OTAs, you name it, all you guys do this, so I'm talking to this audience. But, and I'm thinking about people like you who are out on the road that are having all of these webinars and doing all these things, can point to one source, and I would recommend gohawaii.com.
Kalani, if I'm not mistaken, Sherry, I think I asked you this. You do have maps of the island. I saw something that was created by the Maui Visitors Bureau. So there. And that's on Go Hawaii. So again, everyone on gohawaii.com, because they have new maps going up and messaging. We had another question.
One moment,
Yeah,
I've got one more ad here.
I was just going to reiterate the website that I put up, the form. It's maui.org/strong. I will add Kalani's email to it, so when you submit, it goes straight to HTA. I want it in part for lobbying for the numbers to try to get federal funding and help. And Kalani will get it and get it with HVCB and get a list of, hey, look, we're really open, and here's all the wonderful fun things that you can do when you visit, because people need to know that.
I'd like to interject for just one moment, because we do have several speakers who did fly in this evening. So unfortunately, they will not be able to stay with us for much longer. Just want to ask that we take advantage of the opportunity that they have while they are here. They are here to answer our questions. So be conscious as you raise your hand that we're conscious of their time, because they will have to leave shortly.
Hi, my name is Kim. I represent an organization called Boots on the Ground Maui, and you have to forgive me, I haven't probably used a microphone since grade school, but I'm very thankful to be here, and I do have a specific question. So my organization is very small, we're very grassroots, and we've started since the fire happened. What we've been doing is gathering funds from our network and immediately turning around and helping people get housed. We pay their cleaning deposits, we pay their any costs that related to moving into their places. We've been shopping with them, Costco, Target, Old Navy, getting them supplies. We receive supplies, we've been running convoys, all of that. So we're very boots on the ground, hence our name. One of the reasons I work in real estate, and I sell regular real estate, I manage long-term rentals and also vacation rentals. So what's been beneficial about that is I have a network of people with a lot of vacation rentals and properties and such. And so what we've been able to do is bypass, the gap between FEMA and some of the payments coming in for people, we've been able to bypass that and just grab people and get them into units. Now our challenge, because we've been able to get people out of like crowded homes and into 3 to 4 month rentals, the challenge for us is we have people that are donating a lot of land space. You know, there's a lot of people on Maui that have 5 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, 2 acres, 2-acre parcels that are willing to put things like tiny homes on them. You know, this is a little bit deviating from the tourist conversation, but back to how do we get people out of the hotels. But so they're willing to put these tiny homes and things like that on the parcels. My question is, for people like us that are in this position where we're just not government officials, we're not county officials, we're not really plugged into, you know, the permitting process and how do the logistics work. So we have people volunteering land, we have people donating the ability to build, we have the funds, we have tens of thousands of dollars of funds to pay for the building. Where do we go to find out, are there disaster relief situations that are making the permits faster, shorter? How does that work for us to bridge that gap to make these projects happen?
Okay. Jimmy Tokioka once again. So Hawaii Housing Finance Development Corporation is a program. It's called the Hawaii Fire Relief Program. And Dean Minakami, who was here earlier today, he had to fly back. He set up this program where you can put your inventory into this website, and then the people who need homes, which we have more people who need homes or units than we have units. So if you put those units into the inventory, they will connect directly with the owner of the unit, do the interview, and they'll be set up that way. But I have Erin here from the Red Cross, and she can help explain the next step to that, because it's going to connect with the Red Cross and it's going to connect with FEMA as well. So, I don't know the exact address, but if you just type in Hawaii Fire Relief Program, it'll come up.
I think the other place that would be great for you to be connected with is there is a housing task force that the state has put together, and it would be great to somehow connect you with them so that those resources can be connected. And so I'm happy to give you my contact information. We can make sure, or through Jimmy, that you can get connected with them as well.
Yeah, the Housing Task Force is connected to the Hawaii Fire Relief Program. But how many units are you talking about? Because we need hundreds of them. Okay, so I'm not sure if anyone from FEMA is here to answer that question, but I can tell you that FEMA is working out of the convention center with us, with Dean and the Hawaii Fire Relief Program to connect you to where you need to go. I'm going to be here till I got to run to the airport, so you can give me your information and I'll make sure you get the information tomorrow.
All right, we have a couple more hands than we have time for. We'll have 2 individuals who have had their hands up for the most of the time. We'll let them speak, and then we'll say thank you.
Great, thank you so much. My name is Rich Sato. I'm with the Maui Facilities and Engineering Leadership Council. I'm actually here on the request of Maui United Way. They're our sponsor organization. We have, and this is not a request or a comment. This is mainly to help you guys out here. Our group consists of facility engineers all the way from the Ritz-Carlton all the way down to the Wailea Marriott. JW Cameron Center is one of our Marriotts, even My Health is. Our folks run the properties. I can tell you firsthand that before we had this tragic disaster in Lahaina, we did a real quick survey of all the facilities here. We are short, at that time, 200 facilities guys to work the grounds, to help them out, to help, do what we have to do. Now, granted, with the facilities being shut right now, that is a problem, but we will come back. Our group has a vocational training program we just got funding for right before, I'd say right before, maybe about a month before the tragic fires here. Our vocational program was primarily directed toward gap year kids coming out of high school that didn't know what they wanted to do. They knew they didn't want to go to college, but they wanted to stay on Maui, they wanted to work with their hands, and they wanted to be productive members here. Since that time, I've gotten calls from the mainland from people that want to return to Maui that left Maui because they didn't have the opportunity. I've also gotten calls from folks that are in college right now saying, I'm training in a program that I don't have a future here on Maui. Can I come into your program and can you train me so I can potentially have skills that I can use here on Maui today? And what we train them on is vocational training, right? It's basically the same stuff that you think about a tradesperson, right? Safe tool handling, right? We take them to properties, we tour the facilities. This is what you're going to be looking at doing, right? Yesterday, the news got out that we have this program. It's not advertised, right? We kind of like have a small group. I got a call from a father on the west side, nice gentleman. He said, is this so-and-so? I said, yeah, this is Rich Sato. He said, thank goodness. He said, my daughter and my son-in-law lost everything. They don't have a job. They're in food service. They don't know what they're going to do. And I told them about our program. It's 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting on August 29th. We payroll kids to come in, or anybody, students now, to come in and take the class, $15 an hour, right? That's what we do. 2 hours a day on Tuesday, 2 hours a day on Thursday. Once they graduate in 12 weeks, and somebody said in October, that's the time they're going to lift, potentially the restrictions up in Lahaina. We're a 12-week program. By the time our course ends, hopefully things will start to unwind. But in that time that you're unwinding, you guys may lose workers. You guys may have people that don't have hope to say, I have to leave Maui because I can't find anything. This father said, this gives my kids hope that things will get better. So I'm here because the folks at Maui United Way said, you really need, if you can, socialize this, get this out. I've got flyers that weren't necessarily directed to this group, but you're all more than welcome to take advantage of the program. Our last day of registration is on Monday. Our representatives, I'll make sure you folks get some, because I think this is a program that hopefully will make a difference. Like I said, all great stuff here, all great comments. We just happen to have this program working right now, so we want to make sure it's available to everybody in this critical time. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce Ronnie. She has a reputation, so I hope you guys got 3 hours to spend. I'm just joking. I'm letting you know that Ronnie has stepped up to the plate. This Sunday, when we have free Kamaina Sundays, Ronnie is deploying buses out to the hotels on the west side. So if you have families, those that have lost everything, children that need to get a positive experience, she's running shuttles. Please check with him, and she's bringing them here to the Ocean Center for the kids to do.
Mahalo, Ronnie. Before Ronnie gets started, I would just like to reiterate that because we have individuals who have not much time before they have to return to the airport, we are going to have Ronnie be our last question for this evening. However, I know we have a lot of folks who have had their hands up. We have QR codes that go to the questionnaire form online. Every single one of the folks that you've heard speak tonight will have access to it. They will read them and they will answer them. So if you don't have the opportunity to get an answer this evening, do not worry. We will make sure that your questions are answered in the following days.
Mahalo. And Michael wasn't lying. I could stay on the mic for 3 hours. I did want to mahalo everyone for being here. And it's been such a unique experience. Here at Polynesian Adventure Tours, we've been anxious to participate and heal our community, but we're also anxious to welcome our visitors back. Today I'm very happy, since it was Sherry's birthday, that we sent our very first sunrise tour back up to Haleakala today. Yeah? And I love the map idea. I have to say, during COVID, I was in California getting my daughter's visa with her and the eruption of Kilauea. And the sound in the room was, oh my God, Hawaii's on, it's erupting, we can't go there. It's just the image they have because they don't know the geographics. So I think the map is excellent, an excellent way, and with our diving company above us showing the beauty that does exist. I did share with our directors, our president of the company, do you know, if you were to fly into Maui today, it would be Maui as we know it if you didn't go over the west. Isn't that right? So what we have to do is, although we're healing and helping our community, and I applaud that, you know, from Chrysalis doing everything you can to every entity in this room, if we all do what we can, we will rise above this over time. And if we just do our part and stay in your lane, right? But at the same time, we have to continue to welcome the industry. I did call Michael this morning, and an entity that hasn't been spoken here but maybe online with us is the cruise ship industry. You know, this is bookings that are live. They're going to come through the islands. We were just on the arch of our international cruise ships because it's Alaska season. And come October 1st, we had a cruise ship scheduled every single day for the first 2 weeks. And that has just kind of, you know, delayed a bit. But we need to really rally and encourage, whether it be the harbor masters, our politicians, our HTA, we need to bring them back. So we are working diligently, our ship department, to bring those ships back. I know what you're going to tell me, but we're ready. If they got to switch days, we've been very adjustable for them. So my question is, and here it is, we have to paddle in one canoe. The message has to be short, sweet, and clear that we are ready to receive and we welcome this industry. Simple. Mahalo.
Thanks, Santu. I'll follow up with you after. But yeah.
Anybody else? Deep in.
Folks, while Iliahi is getting ready, just again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas, there are QR codes when you exit this side. Please scan that code and place them up. We'll get them to the appropriate leaders. And also for you folks that I want, before anybody leaves, we got Tapani and Ihilahi is going to address the crowd.
Aloha kako. Ilihia Johnson, Public Affairs Officer for the Hawaii Tourism Authority. Mahalo to all of you for taking the time to come here so we can listen, so we can learn what you're facing, so that we can adapt the things that we say to serve you best. Because at the end of the day, we are here in service of our community. We are here to support an industry that serves our community time and time again. So mahalo to all of you for taking the time. I just wanted to quickly announce, so we have these QR codes. If you have questions that haven't been answered, you can submit them here. This is the same way that folks online have been submitting questions. Collectively, we're gonna answer those questions and get back to you. If you registered for this meeting through the Eventbrite, we have a list of your emails. On Friday, long time ago, we scheduled one of our quarterly hospitality updates that we do with the mayor, HLTA, with Mayor Mufi, as well as the Maui Visitors and Convention Bureau and the Hawaii Visitors and Convention Bureau. We scheduled it 2 days from now, on Friday, long time ago, before all of this happened. And we thought we could cancel it, but rather we want to give more opportunities to listen, for us to listen to what you have to share. So I'll email that link to everybody who registered, so you'll have it. If you can join us Friday at, what time was? Friday at 1 o'clock. Again, we'll email all of that to everybody who registered tonight. You know, if you have more thoughts, if you have more questions, that's going to be a great venue to share those with us as well. So please join us, if time permits, on Friday for that. Again, we'll email the link to everybody. 1:30, sorry. Feel like come early, 1 o'clock. I'm so sorry. It's going to be on Zoom. So, yeah, on Zoom. So you can click in from wherever you are, and we'll be there to listen, to share. We hear you. We have stuff in the works to share that message that Maui is still open, that coming is caring, so that we can continue to support our friends and family who lost so much. And everyone in this room is doing a big part of that by being here tonight. So mahalo nui, and mahalo to our host, Maui Ocean Center. How about a round of applause for them? Mahalo to Director Tokioka, our legislative delegation. Mahalo nui, and we'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Briefly, again, thank you for all of you being here. Thank you for our authorities and our dignitaries. Thank you very much. Quick show of hand, who would like to see discussion continue further, whether it's virtual or in person? So it looks like a majority. Please provide. We will take comments online right now, and looks like we will have follow-up meetings, so everybody will have a chance to share.
Ma'am, I'm not leaving, so I'm not leaving yet. So I'll be here. I can answer whatever questions people have until I need to leave. And so I understand people have a lot to say, but seriously, put your questions in here. The team at HTA, from the time we set up the shelter at the convention center to now, has been in that communication situation room every single day from early in the morning to late at night. So I can't thank them enough for the work that they have done. And I also want to introduce the humblest acting president and CEO of the HTA, which is Daniel Naho'opi'i. Daniel he's a thinker. He's gathering all the information, and then when we go back to Oahu, we'll put things in motion to help all of you, because we know the tragedy that you all have been through, and we want to try to make this as best as possible and what you folks want. So please fill this out, because I promise you, Ilihi and his team is going to respond. That's the way that you can communicate with us. But again, Tapani, you're going to be on that economic recovery task force. Everybody else say aye. Thank you, Tapani.
Thank you. This is the last time I'll invite you. Anyway, thank you. This space continues to be available pro bono basis for these community meetings. Our treasure partners is available for you. Or if you need to do community meetings, this space is available after hours for your meetings if you decide to do that. Let's make sure everybody gets their free Maui Strong t-shirt, and there's a sticker there. And final words, together we are Maui Strong. Thank you for being here. Good night.